Hey everyone, John Wage here from TradersPost. This video is going to quickly show you some new features that were released last week. They allow you to have a take profit and stop loss defined in the actual webhook signal. Previously, you would only be able to calculate a percentage-based take profit or stop loss that's configured in the strategy subscription. But sometimes you may want to configure and send that take profit and stop loss information with the entry signal in the webhook. So if we just hop over here to webhooks and click view and then click send request, you'll see now that we have these two new sections, has stop loss and has take profit. And you can choose the stop loss type. And you have the ability to input a relative stop loss that can either be a percentage or a stop loss amount, which is a dollar amount. And these are calculated relative to the entry price. So if you have a $100 entry price and you're going long and you put in a 10% stop loss, that means you'll get a stop price configured at $90. Similarly, if I were to put $5 in here, that would basically subtract 5 from 100 and you'd get a stop price of 95. And then if you don't want to have TradersPost do the math on our side, you can just send an absolute stop price and stop loss limit price. And then it's really the same thing for take profits. You have the relative percentage and relative dollar amount, and then you can also just specify an absolute take profit limit price. So one thing that I want to show as well on this screen here is when I submit this form. So if I submit a buy for Square and we say we want a 10% take profit and a 5% stop loss, when you click confirm, you'll now see a screen that confirms the signal before you send it. Previously, when you click submit on the previous screen, it would just send the signal straight to the webhook. But this allows you to kind of play around with the form and see the payload that would get sent to the webhook before you send it. So this is kind of useful to explore what the payload looks like when you're sending the signal from outside of TradersPost, say in TradingView or TrendSpider, or from your own custom programming language. So right now we're submitting a percentage, but what if I were to submit a dollar amount? So let's take profit when the price moves up $10, and let's have our stop loss if the price moves down $5. So now you see the payload looks the same, but instead of a percent, it's an amount. And then similarly, let's do one last test. If I were to set my take profit limit price to $200 and we want the stop loss to be at $20, and if we submit this, let's see, you're only allowed to enter one stop loss value. Okay, so I can't mix relative and absolute. So let's remove the relative stop loss amount. So now you see the payload looks slightly different, where the take profit and the stop loss, we're specifying an explicit limit price for the take profit and an explicit price for the stop price. So let me hop over here to the documentation. We've also updated that as well to have information about these new parameters that you can send in the webhook. So you'll see that we have these two new sections, take profit and stop loss. If you click read more, it'll show you all the different examples of take profits. So like I said, you can do a relative percentage, a relative dollar amount, or an absolute limit price. And the stop loss is the same. You can do a relative percent, a relative amount, or a absolute stop price. And then if you wanted to do a stop limit, it's the same thing. You would just specify a type of stop limit, and then you would specify both a stop price and a limit price. So this should be pretty useful for everyone who wants to calculate their take profit and stop loss levels on the strategy side and send those parameters along with the entry signal. Hope you enjoy this. Thanks, everyone. Bye.